But my whole life literally has been directed by dreams. And if you will listen to your dreams, you will have strategy in how to do things. So sometimes it's one message, and that dream might have messages in it for the next 10 years. With all those dots, they begin to connect.
If you don't keep your dreams, if you don't keep a log or journal or, keep track of what's going on, it can slip right past you and you're not aware. But if you could connect the dots, and that generally is the vision, he's connecting dots and gives you that direction that you need. And it kind of builds on one upon the other. And you can see some patterns developing for the direction. And it's very interesting.
Listen to a dream, because God's got it. Hello, everybody. We are Bridging Realms, and this is Melody Pash and my team member, Jill. Say hi, Jill.
Hi. Glad to be here.
We're going to talk to you today about how dreams direct your lives, because if you're listening to your dreams, you can get a lot of direction. And my dreams, because I'm an avid dreamer, my dreams have lots of direction in them. One of the things that stands out most current is 5 years ago. Well, actually, I had this dream many years ago. Jill, you might be able to, it's probably been a long time ago, but I dreamt, and I was living in the Pacific Northwest, but I had this dream, and I'm from the Dallas area. But I have this dream that I'm on the Dallas North Parkway, and I'm driving north on the North Parkway, and I get all the way to the end of the parkway, which is at 380, which is interesting. And I should have looked that up again, because I have looked that up. Shekinah, maybe you could check that out for me, 380. And so at 380 is where the tollway, it's the end of the tollway. It hasn't been built yet past 380. So in the dream, I go to the end of the tollway and I take a left. Now, a left is going to typically be like a spiritual turn, a spiritual change. And the reason I turn left right there where the end of the tollway is because I'm sitting in a light and my car sounds like it's going to stall. Now, this is a past vehicle. It wasn't even a current vehicle, but a past vehicle that I had. And so it's stalling, like something's going on, something's happening, and it's like it's going to just die. And so I'm worried about it. So I take a quick left, and then I turn left into this little shop that's right at the end of the tollway, and it's an automotive shop. Now, this is a very interesting and strange automotive shop. Everyone in the shop is actually, they're all wearing tuxedos. Like, everybody is all dressed up. And there are display cases with diamonds and with chocolate. So they have a display case for beautiful chocolates. They were Swiss chocolates, actually, and a beautiful case for diamonds. And so I walk in, I park, I walk in, and I am looking around kind of like, is this the right place? And I say to them, my car is trying to die. It's stalling. Can you guys help? Sorry, can you look at it? And the manager, this beautiful woman in her tuxedo, comes up and says, oh, yeah, we can absolutely take care of you. So she calls one of the guys, also in a tuxedo, because it's a repair shop. It's just a unique one. And she says, would you mind going and looking? And I can't remember his name, but would you mind going and looking at Melody's car? So he goes out and he comes back in, and he says, oh, I'm sorry, but it's a total, it can't be fixed. And I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. And I said, well, can you guys maybe buy it from me for parts for maybe $1,000 or something? And they were like, yeah, no problem. No problem. Then I wake up. Oh, and she says to me, while you're waiting, come and browse the diamonds. Come and have a piece of chocolate. And I'm like, okay. Okay. Now, interesting. Thank you, Shekinah. Interesting. 380 in Greek means to unroll or to open. Now, that's really interesting because it was at the end of the tollway and the new part hadn't been opened or unrolled yet. And then in Hebrew, it says pupil of the eye, as in of the eye, apple of the eye. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Shekinah. So I wake up and I'm like, what the hey? I mean, I got no idea. And it was years ago. Now, I've never forgotten that dream. You know how sometimes you will have very, very lucid, like they're like real. They feel real. And you can't figure out why, but it's so real. Well, that was one of those dreams. And you never forget those dreams. And so it's just so bizarre. And I put it on a back burner like I do everything else and say to the Lord, whatever. You just do what you got to do. So years later then, which would have been in 2021, when Texas had their snowmageddon, as they call it, and nothing was coming in and out of Texas, as well as flights go, that is. I was in Kansas City, and I was visiting some family, and my brother was there, and my brother lived in the Dallas area. Anyway, and he said to me, listen, I'm gonna drive back tomorrow to Dallas. Do you want to go? Do you want to ride with me? Since you can't fly back to the Pacific Northwest and you can't go to I was booked for to speak in a meeting and it was getting canceled because there's no way to get there. And I was like, yeah, I will. You're okay to drive? He's like, oh yeah. So we are driving from Kansas City to Dallas the next day. Now, this is my brother who's very non-demonstrative in any way. And he says to me, are you thinking you're going to stay in the Northwest? And I said, well, yeah, I'm definitely moving. I'd already heard the Lord say, you're going to move. And so I was going to be moving. And I thought I was going to Idaho, to Coeur d'Alene. And I was very excited about that. And he said to me, sure would be nice if you were close to family. And I was like, what just happened? And who are you? Because my brother never would have said anything like that. I knew the minute he said it that it was the Spirit of the Lord saying to me, I'm just giving you a 411. Yeah. And it was like, oh boy. And it was just a prompt, right? And I was like, oh boy. So he drops me off at my best friend's house then that day. And I go to bed that night. And the next morning I wake up and I haven't slept all night long. And I am livid. I'm livid. I'm wailing. I'm sitting on the couch wailing. And my friend comes in and she's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, well, I wrestled with the Lord all night long. And he says, I'm moving back to Texas. Well, she's jumping up and down and doing cartwheels. And I'm like, I'm not as excited about it as you are. And so that was in January, the end of January 2021. Okay. I call all of my directors and my advisors and say to them, I feel like the Lord is telling me I'm moving back to Texas, even though I don't want to. And they're like, yeah, we think so. And I'm like, would have been nice if somebody had said something before now, but okay. Jill's laughing. I said that to her. I was like, okay. So in February, this story gets much longer than it is, but I'm going to cut it off at this. In February, the truck came. I didn't even get to go back to Washington State to pack and move myself. I had an advisor do that. Well, she offered to do that. It was crazy. The truck shows up in February, and I'm like, what just happened? I mean, I literally, within 6 weeks, I have moved from Washington State to Texas, and I didn't mean to. Well, the Lord had been talking to me about looking up north. So I had been looking there, but I landed in Frisco. Okay, well, that's considered North Dallas, and it's not far from where 380 is. And the Lord was giving me these little prompts.
Oh, yeah. Location.
Of where I was going to land, and I had no idea. I mean, I had no idea. And I travel the Tollway, the North Tollway, a lot. But it's so interesting. Now some dreams are totally literal. And I had a dream like that last week, and the next day happened exactly like the dream. But usually they're more lucid dreams, or they feel very, very real to you. But typically the literal is very rare. That's very rare. So this dream was telling me, you're moving back to Texas. And I just was like, oh, and by the way, it's going to be a good place and there's going to be good stuff there for you. And I was like, okay. Because I wasn't in agreement in my heart, but I was absolutely in agreement with God, because there's no way I would ever say no to God, because I know the beauty of obedience, of radical obedience to God. So I had been here about 6 months and had spent time with both my brothers, and it was just a wonderful time. And then one day I got a call from my big brother, and my middle brother had gone to the gym like he does, and he was in the best shape he had ever been, and he died. He died. And I was like, okay. The Lord said to me, see why you had to get to Texas when you got to Texas, and there was no delay. You couldn't go home and delay it. I needed you to have time with your brother. Look at how sweet he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that just the way he works, Jill?
It is. You had no way of knowing what was going to happen. And had you had your choice, you would have said your goodbyes. You would have taken your time packing and had everything organized just perfectly. And he didn't let you do any of that.
Any of it.
Right. Yeah.
But I was so grateful.
Yeah.
After that happened.
Yeah. The understanding. Yeah.
Sometimes afterwards. It doesn't come till after you take the action, though, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes he wants you, he's got you traveling in the dark because he doesn't want to tell you the whole story.
Yeah.
Because then you miss all of the good stuff between here and there.
Yeah.
But he does direct us in our dreams.
Yeah.
How about you, Jill? You had any directions in your dream? You've had directions for the school in your dreams. I know that. Well, in a vision.
Well, yeah. I didn't know it at the time, and I wasn't a dreamer, and we were having a retreat, and it was my first, and we were supposed to pay attention to our dreams, so that we could get strategy from it. And, the only thing I got was Scott's 411.
4-1.
Yes.
And that was a 4-1-1.
That's for your information. But anyway, it ended up being a 4-stage process that you use to feed your lawn and through 4 different seasons, and when to put it on and when to apply the next one and all that. Well, that was the model for our school. And
it really was.
Yeah. So I didn't think it was anything, I just thought, that's strange, Scott's 4-1-1. I don't even know what that means, And anyway, and Scott's was a painted warrior. So it was, how we proceed and take things in authority and move forward. And it was pretty neat. And
it was awesome.
That served us for quite a long time.
Actually, we still refer back, and that was at the beginning of the school, and we were 14 years old this year.
Yeah.
Is that right? Because we were.
I think so.
Because we launched 11-11-11.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't know. I'm not good with the math. But anyway, but 11-11-11. So maybe we are 15? No.
It's 15 years.
This year is 15.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
15 years. There's an establishment of grace. Thank you very much.
Yes. We have favor.
We really do.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we still look back on that, but we also used all of what we learned through that to set very healthy boundaries with students and staff, and we use that in all of our policy and procedure for the school. So that's the way we built all of our procedures, policy and procedures for the school. This is a very big deal because we needed that strategy, and we've got another strategy, same. And there are so many thousands of examples that it's hard to even keep up with all of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's nutty.
Yeah.
I remember years and years ago now, I also had a dream 2 or 3 years before this happened. I was living in the Pacific Northwest, but I had a room that I was renting in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. And I had a dream that this dream was so funny and wonderful the way God speaks. I was in a hotel room and I was traveling with my father and my brother. That brother, actually. And that we were just talking about. And so my daughter and I were staying in one hotel room because we needed to stay overnight and then drive. We had all of my stuff in a U-Haul truck and we were driving it somewhere, but I didn't know where in the dream. And so we were driving the car and the guys were driving the truck. So I get a phone call that next morning at 9 a.m., which is typically the end of something, but the beginning of a new harvest. And it's Dad from the room next door. And he says, "Are you guys up?" "Yeah, we're up." "Well, we want to grab some breakfast before we get on the road," he says. "So meet us at my favorite place down the road at such and such time." And I think it might have been 11 or something like that. Anyway, so he hangs up and I'm like, his favorite place. Okay. Well, he had 2 favorite places that I knew about. One was IHOP, which is very strongly connected to Kansas City because of the International House of Prayer.
Right.
And then the other one was Denny's. Now, Denny's is only in Texas that I'm aware of, or was at the time. And I'm like, so is it Texas or Kansas City, or what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Now remember, I had a room in Kansas City. I was living in the Pacific Northwest, and so I'm kind of praying through this, and I get up one day, probably 6 or 8 months later, because it was in September, and I hear the Lord say, "You've got to go get all of your storage out of Texas." And I'm like, well, that's weird. Now, remember, in the dream, all my stuff was in a U-Haul truck.
Oh.
It was in a truck. So I'm like, and it needs to be done by, it was like Rosh Hashanah. I only had like 2 weeks to do it. And so I told my roommates what was going on, and one of them offered to drive me down to Texas to clear out my storage and to bring back whatever I decided I wanted to keep. So that dream actually prompted us going and taking care of that storage, which I'd had that storage. It was stuff from past life. Like, it had been there for 10 years and I hadn't seen most of it, and it was going to be a very hard sorting through, and it really was. And if it weren't for my friend, God made sure that my friend went with me, I don't think I would have made it. But the Lord graced us, and that took place, and it happened, and we took back the things that I still wanted to keep that were still valuable to me, and we tossed or gave away everything from the past that basically reminded me of grief, things that I didn't need any longer.
Yeah.
The fear of loss and the grief and all of that. So sometimes when you have the dream, it'll have elements that kind of make sense. Like, okay, we were going somewhere and we were moving all my stuff. What was happening? What exactly was happening? But you don't have the details. The Lord doesn't give you every clue. He waits because it's not for that time yet. And then when he does say it, then you're like, oh, okay. So when God forced me to move back to Texas, I was like, oh, he reminded me of that dream. I was like, oh, now I see.
Yeah, closure.
Right? He was telling me my car wasn't going to go any further than Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Jill?
Oh, I was just saying it's closure. You know, the past is closure, and you're moving forward. You've got a new future, a new place, and
and you have to go through things and call things out, don't you, to get into the next place?
Yeah.
Otherwise, things you can't carry that baggage into the next place. It doesn't fit. It won't work.
Mm-mm. No,
it's not going to be good.
Yeah, things have changed, and you no longer need certain things. You know, you're past that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And just remember, in that auto shop, there was a display case of chocolate. She was going to give me a sample, and there were diamonds. There were going to be bright moments, beautiful moments, but there were also going to be really sweet moments. And that is what happened.
Yeah.
Right after I moved here, that 6 months with my brother was very sweet.
Yeah.
That time was it was wonderful. And I can look back on that now and say, thank God I listened to the Father and was just, so sometimes you're going to have a dream and it's going to have elements in it, and they're going to connect. They're going to start connecting. Dots will start connecting over time. And you have to let those dots connect before you run off and do something.
Right.
You can't take the actual step until it's time.
Yeah. I was also thinking that the chocolate is comfort, and what sweet comfort that he gave you, you know, that you got to spend that time with him. And
he also gave me a really wonderful place in Texas with great square footage, and I love it.
Mhm.
And it's got a big patio, which I've enclosed with screen and drapery because it's Texas.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes here are big enough to carry you off. They will just pick you up and haul you off. So you have to have some protection.
Yeah, I also think that he gave you a symbol of that, and that was your ring, which is chocolate diamonds. And that, how sweet was that? And that's one of your favorite pieces.
It really is.
So,
Isn't that just awesome?
yeah.
So sweet. And McKinney, Highway 380 goes, it basically runs east to west through McKinney. Well, my very best friend of 40 some odd years, I think she's saying it's 42 now, lives in McKinney. So I'm close to her, which has been a delight.
Mm-hmm.
So there were lots of sweet things that came out of that, lots of blessings that came out of that.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I was kicking and screaming there for a minute. And Jill always says, the word says that we can come and reason together. That's what the Lord says. He doesn't mind you throwing a little fit and asking lots of questions because he's got all the answers. And he's not really offended by that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. And then it was like, well, I'm glad I'm here, especially after I lost my brother. And I was like, thank you, Jesus, that I had that time with him and how special it was. How special it was.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. So you're going to have lucid dreams that feel very real, and they're going to be kind of like no-brainers sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also going to have dreams that are still cryptic, but they have elements of your literal life in them. And those are the ones that the Lord's saying, keep an eye on this.
Oh.
Right? Keep an eye on this, because this is something that's coming up, because it's not timing yet. It's not the right time yet, but you'll know when it's the right time. The Lord will give you the time, and all of a sudden, and it'll be so funny because you'll look back at the dream like that dream was years ago. And then all of a sudden I'm residing in Texas. Like, how did that even happen? It was like forever, and it was on the back burner, and I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't want to move to Texas. I love Texas and I love the people here, but it's hot here. I like the Pacific Northwest where it's cool most of the time. That works for me. Works for my hormones. But this is the deal. It was years before it actually happened, and the Lord had to remind me, I had already started dealing with your spirit and your soul on this. Remember? Because I put it in your dream. It's like Jill said, it was a 411. It's an information call.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those dreams are so funny. Dreams are so funny when they...
Mm-hmm.
I've had dreams tell me how to operate with relationships in conflict. That came in dreams. I've had prophetic words come in dreams. I had a prophetic word that I was ministering prophetically to this beautiful, long-haired, blonde gal in a restaurant. And I didn't know her. And I wake up the next day and I had a lunch date with a friend, and I see her walking through the restaurant, and I have to follow her out. And she's got like 4 or 5 friends with her. And because this is a college town and they all go to college there. And I said, I introduced myself. I said, I know this is going to sound very, very odd, but I just, as you walk by, I sort of lied. I didn't exactly lie. I didn't say I had a dream about you last night. I didn't want to scare her off. So I said, when you walked by, I heard something about you. Can I share that with you? She's looking at me kind of funny, looking at her friends. Sure, okay. Well, it turns out she is a believer. Now, she's not hot. She's not in hot pursuit of the Lord, but she is a believer. And so I start prophesying to her, and I mean, right down to the guy that she was dating who wasn't actually the one for her. And her friends are looking at each other like, who is this woman and what is going on? And then I finish, and she's kind of teary-eyed, and she hugs me and she thanks me, and she says, you know, you don't know how long I've been praying for some direction in my life, and I feel like I just got it. And everybody's just like, all our friends are just standing around like shaking their heads like, what just happened? But that was a literal dream, right? I literally saw the young woman. I knew what she looked like. It was at a restaurant, and then it happened, boom, 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 exactly like that. That's a literal dream. They're very, very rare, though, aren't they, Jill?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Probably 80% or more are symbolic, and you know. So
definitely.
That's
speaking of jewelry. You're bringing up the chocolate diamonds. Remember, just a couple of months ago, one of our directors happened to be in town, and she texted me and said, "Do you want to get together tomorrow for coffee or something?" And I was like, "Sure." So understand that for most of our students and all of the staff, none of us live in the same state. We're all over the place. We come together, we fly in and come together in retreats, but we don't live in the same place. So she was coming through town. So I go to bed that night and am going to get up and get dressed and spend some time with her. And I have this dream that she's there at my house, and I'm picking up jewelry. I'm straightening things up, and I'm picking up jewelry, and I'm organizing everything, and I'm putting all of the rings in one place, and I'm putting all the necklaces in the other place. I'm putting all the bracelets and the earrings and in their category. And so that just seems like a really interesting dream. But I wake up and I'm like, Lord, or angels, you're going to have to give me some input on that, because I don't know. So then my director walks in, and the first thing she says to me is, "I got to show you my birthday present." And I was like, oh yeah, I do. She pulls out a pouch. Now, I was putting jewelry in pouches. She pulls out a pouch, she opens it up, and she pulls out a necklace. I'm like, what? It's in a case, but it's in it like a pouch. And then she pulls out earrings. And then she pulls out a ring. And then she pulls out, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm having a moment, but I'm not sure what it is. And she's looking at me like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, but I dreamt this last night, something very, very similar. And we talk about it, and then something else drops. A big download drops. It's like, oh, okay, all right. Now, do I still have all the pieces to that dream? No. However, part of it was very literal, and part of it is still coming.
Wow.
But you cannot imagine how surprised I was when she started pulling jewelry out of her bag, and I had been organizing jewelry all night long. And I will tell you something. Sometimes the Lord will do something like that, and it will be a 411, like Jill was talking about. It's like, I'm trying to get your attention, and I'm wanting you to listen. Just be present in the moment. That's a key. That's a key, guys. Be present, stay present in the moment, so that when it comes up later, you remember, oh, this was in a dream.
Yeah.
Thank God I have the 411, and I can come into agreement with the Father because I had it in a dream.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, who doesn't like jewelry? And jewelry is valuable. So he's having you organize things that are
isn't that
valuable.
sort of what we do? I mean,
Yeah.
we help people find their giftings, which is their value.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I had a dream that kind of goes along that vein. I was at a neighbor's house. Somebody, it was not my own home, and I was visiting with her, and a neighbor comes over and asks if she could borrow some allspice and turmeric. And so we go through the friend's cupboard, and we're looking for those two spices. And anyway, we spent a long time going through the cupboard and pulling out spices, and till we finally found the allspice and the turmeric. But what that meant to us was the school. And we were pulling out valuable spices that were contained in the cupboard, which was the students. So we were pulling out their qualities and their good points.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And allspice, that's variety. You can use it in so many things. But turmeric, that's healing. And so much a part of the school is a healing journey. Every student will tell you that.
Yeah.
Yep. It is definitely a healing and deliverance journey.
Yep. So that was just confirmation, of what our purpose was and what we were doing. And
what a great, and we were doing the right things. And also the turmeric is also an antioxidant, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
So clearing out the stuff like old religion and things that were detrimental to our lives, to the students. Yeah, that was such a directive word. Yeah, you'd think you'd have the dream and go, what the heck was that about? It was so clear. Yeah. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that. And he's told us things to do. Like sometimes he'll tell us in dreams, like the students dream a lot about our retreats. They'll dream about our retreats, what's going on. I'm in a lot of those dreams. Jill and some of the others are in those dreams, and things are happening, and we get direction there. We also get strategy in battle and warfare in those dreams. We couldn't do without those dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, lots of times we come together and we're not real clear on what the retreat is going to be. And through the dreams, the Lord starts showing us the direction that He wants to address.
There's always an assignment, isn't there, Jim?
Yes, there is an assignment. Yep. Yeah.
So sometimes He just wants you to come together and listen.
Yeah.
And when you've got, 10 or 12 people in a house and they're all having dreams, it gets really interesting, right? We spend half the day processing dreams, which is really the beautiful part of it. That's one of our favorite parts of the retreat, is processing all the dreams.
Yeah. And they all
always faithful. So He gives dreams and they are always relevant because He is so faithful.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Jill.
Oh, I was just going to say that even through all those dreams, they all seem to tie together. At first, it doesn't look like that, but once you start processing, lo and behold, they all have a piece or a part in the direction. So it's very...
As we're processing, every person has a piece and a part. They all hear something different, and it all comes down to exactly what we need to know, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because we're all together. We're working together as the body.
Yep.
What a novel idea. Let's work together in unity.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why we love what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a special time because it's... you get to work together and you're right there with these people. You're not online, and it's just a special time, and every moment just seems to fly by. I mean,
it's so sweet. Nobody ever wants to go home.
No. Nope.
Sometimes they don't want to come, and then they don't want to go home.
Yeah.
We've had one or two say, I didn't really want to come, but I'm so glad I came.
Yeah.
I got delivered. I got triggered, and then I got delivered. Praise God.
Yeah.
And it's a safe place, isn't it? It's not
It is.
a place where people are going to slice and dice you and expose you.
Oh,
It's
no.
a safe place. It is unity. God has been so sweet in all that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is God never exposes you. He reveals things to you, but he won't leave you out hanging and drying in the in the public, for
Right.
everybody to see. He's very gentle, and so when there's correction, you know it, but somebody else might not catch it at all.
Right.
So it's very personal, and
It really is.
it's never exposure.
Right. Another dream that just came up that I had, this was a literal dream, but it was intercession. It was for the purpose of intercession. And I had this dream about a very close friend. She didn't live in the same city or state that I did. And she had a disease that I didn't know the severity of the disease. But one weekend, I had this dream about her, and she was dying, and I was interceding. I was literally in the closet the whole weekend. And I kept trying to call her and call her and call her. I couldn't get an answer. I couldn't get through. And I was really worried about her. Not in a frightened way, but more a, strong intercession way. It was like, oh no, you're not taking my friend. So I and I've left several messages for her. So Monday morning, I had a call back from her. So the Lord was calling me to intercession, right? So Monday morning, I had a call from her, and she said, well, I'm doing much better now. And I'm like, what do you mean? Because I've been praying for you, like intensely interceding for you all weekend long, like feeling like you were dying. She said, yeah, I was in the hospital over the weekend, and her organs had started shutting down, and they were fighting to keep her alive.
Wow.
And the Lord just had me interceding the whole weekend, the whole time. And I had no idea what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
See how if we miss that direction, we're going to miss some things that are very, very important, and very strategic and very purposeful.
Yeah. Yeah, he is so sweet, that he cares enough to give us a heads up, and also to facilitate somebody else that is needing that intercession, that declaration, that truth that he has, for their life. And
right.
Yeah.
Right. There's so much there. I mean, there's so much there. And until we start giving credence to our dreams and paying attention, we just miss it. We don't understand. And sometimes we're begging God for answers. Like we're praying and we're praying and we're praying. We're like, God, please speak to me. God, please. And you've had dreams every night that have the answer in it. And he's like, I'm talking, but you're not listening.
Yeah.
You think I'm going to speak in one way and one way only. Yeah. And you're not letting me out of the box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you keep interrupting by talking and begging and praying. And
Yes. Dreams let him out of the box.
Yeah.
And dreams are not something new. They're all through the Bible.
Yeah.
The first 5 books of the Bible are full of dreams.
Oh boy, they are full of dreams.
There are dreams in the New Testament too. I mean,
yep.
We have to have those dreams. I'm so grateful for my dreams and for visions. Sometimes I get visions, but boy, my dreams, I really listen.
Yeah.
And God is so sweet and he's so gentle, isn't he? He's just, he's really gentle. When I was living with a friend who was actually much older than I was, but she was in the school, and she and her husband had a big house, and I actually lived with them for about a year, maybe not quite a year, but close to a year. And her husband got sick and died. It was so sad. He was this lovely man. Lovely man. He'd been a pilot and just very intelligent. They owned a business and did very well, but just lovely people who loved God. Anyway, about 3 months after the husband died, she's not feeling well. And I just couldn't figure out what's going on here. And she gets diagnosed with the same thing her husband just died of.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was 9 or 10 years younger than he was. So he lived to a good age. But she's feeling sick and she gets this diagnosis. And I wake up one night in the middle of the night and I have the same dream, I'm talking exact recurring dream 3 times in one night. One night, the very same dream. And I wake up and the dream was that I was going to see a friend who was ill, and I was going to pray for my friend, and because I knew my friend was dying in the dream. I didn't know any of this about my literal life at the moment. But as I'm talking to myself in the dream, I realize, oh, that person has already died, and I was at their funeral last week. And I begin to wail. I mean, I'm wailing, and I'm nearly screaming, and I wake myself up. And that dream happens 3 times in a row, exactly the same. Nothing changed. It was the exact dream 3 times in a row. Now, anytime God tells you something 3 times, he's saying it's either established, as in it's done, or I'm really serious that you need to get this message. So you need to be listening. And that's when it gets a little, 3 gets a little stern. It's like, you need to be listening. But sometimes he's just saying something's established, good or bad, he's letting you know. So a few days later, interesting, I start feeling like I need to start looking for an apartment. And so I start looking for an apartment because I'm excited about having a place of my own. And my friend that I lived with, we were excited. She was excited to see it. I finally found one and she was very, very excited to see it. Well, she died before she got to see my place. And the Lord was letting me know. Now, the person in the dream that had died was not the same person as I was living with. Had God told me that she was going to die, I wouldn't have been able to handle that. He told me, but in a different way. The person who was dying, who had died in the dream, their name means stone or rock. Well, she was that. And we all called her the general. We called her the general. And it was so interesting because I was literally moving in. My move-in date happened to fall a week before we lost her, but she couldn't get out of bed.
Oh.
And then she was gone. She was gone from here. She is still the general. She's still doing her work. She's doing it with the Father. But the Lord told me, and one of the things he was telling me in that dream was, but I didn't realize it at the time, you need to find a place to live. I have a place for you to live. Let's go find it. Let me show it to you. But I had no idea that that's what he was telling me in the course of what was going on.
Yeah.
It was later that I realized, oh, he got me out of there before we lost her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we were devastated anyway, but it would have been even worse.
Oh, it would have been awful. Yeah.
Well, I think it would have been. God will grace you where you need grace. If you're supposed to be the person who helps another person transition from life to the eternal, then God will grace you in that. I know people I know prophetic people who are actually, that's a part of their gifting, is they are called to literally help transition people. And you know what? It sounds very morbid. That is one of the sweetest, most precious gifts you could possibly have.
Yeah.
To be there prophetically transitioning people into eternity. That's huge.
It is huge. And such a wonderful gift because most people run. They don't ever come back and they don't want to talk to them because they don't know what to say. And, and lots of times you don't have to say anything. It's just being there, your presence.
Right. Because it's not about you. It's about them.
It's about them. Yeah.
But God will he will absolutely give you grace to what you need to do for whatever you need to do, no matter how overwhelming it looks. And if you will listen to your dreams, you will have strategy in how to do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
He will let you know. And he's so multifunctional, isn't he, Jill?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's one message, and that dream might have messages in it for the next 10 years. I've had dreams like that too. We're still processing through dreams I had years ago that are part of what's going on now.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
He's brilliant. He's delicious.
Yeah. And
I can't figure this stuff out. Go ahead, Jill.
Oh, I was just thinking, just the magnitude of diversity, that he pulls into dreams and speaks your language. We've had some really strange dreams from other people, and it always stems with something that they're familiar with or their culture, or so sometimes it's a little hard for us to to understand, but for them, that's where they that's where their mindset is, that's where they have developed, and it just speaks to their heart, and they know that it's important. And
yeah it's amazing. Just think back on all the many thousands, I don't know how many journals I have full of dreams. From years ago, I finally threw a bunch of them away, but wish I hadn't, but I didn't have a place for them. But I've got so many now. It's like you look back and you're like, well, that happened, this happened, we went there, we did that. Yep.
Yeah.
Because all those dots, they begin to connect.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't keep your dreams, if you don't keep a log or journal or, keep track of what's going on, it can slip right past you and you're not aware. But if you can connect the dots, and that generally is the vision, he's connecting dots and, gives you that direction that you need. And it kind of builds on one upon the other. And you can see some patterns developing and, for the direction. And it's very interesting.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It seems like there are just so many. You can just pull so many out of your hat, and so many that we've had, from students that confer. A lot of times a dream will be a confirmation, especially if it's from someone else. Somebody will say, "Oh, I had this strange dream last night." They'll tell you about their dream. And you're listening to the dream, you're like, "Oh, that's confirmation for my life right now."
Wow.
Now, I'm sure it also has a message to them as well, because that's the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be a literal message for your own life. And you're like, I'm so glad they told me that dream.
Yeah. Yep. The Lord was going to make sure that he gave it to you too, that you got to hear it. 2 for 1.
It's a twofer.
It's a twofer.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, there are so many. There's so much. There's so much. Boy, oh boy. But my whole life literally has been directed by dreams. Looking back, everything, all of my direction literally comes in dreams.
Yeah.
95%, I would say, definitely. Occasionally it's a vision, or the Lord will just drop, a word. I mean, it's sometimes it's like an audible word. Sometimes it's just something he drops in you. But 95% of the time, all of my direction is dreams.
Yeah.
It's dreams. So it's hard when we hear people talking about their dreams. Oh yeah, I dream all the time. Yeah, but I don't remember, or I remember them, but I never write them down. I'm like, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah. One time, we were upset. I mean, there was so much going on in the world, and it was so chaotic, and still is. And wondering, what's going to become of America, and does God still love America? That type of thing. And we had a American flag out on the front porch, and anyway. I happened to look out, and there was this dove resting on the American flag. And we knew right away that,
How clear.
God still loves America. God still, has good for America, and he wants to bless America. And that was so comforting, and especially, in the turmoil of things, and thinking, how could anything good come of us,
Right.
But he works all things together for good, even when things seem bad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's at Jeremiah 29:11 too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to bless you. I have plans for you, but they're not going to bring harm or sorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you something that's going to bring you sorrow. I keep going back to that passage because it's just so relevant in my life right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on to those special words, because they are highlighted for that moment and for you. And sometimes they're a life-changing thing that means everything to you. It carries you through your life,
Yeah. Absolutely. The impact is more than we can really think or imagine sometimes, because we look back on it and I think, wow, if I hadn't been listening to that, where would I be right now?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be in God's will, actually.
Yeah.
I think I'd be off somewhere in the sticks, in the tall grass. Yeah, he's sweet. Well, Lord, we just thank you that you're so sweet.
Yes.
That you love your people, you love your daughters, and you love your sons. And Lord, you're speaking all the time. We're always asking for you to speak, but you're speaking all the time. And we just thank you and we praise you for that.
Yes.
And we love you for that, and we honor you. And we exalt you today, because there's nobody like you. And for those who are watching and listening, listen to your dreams. Listen to a dream, because God's got it. God's got it.
He sure does. And it's valuable.
It's so valuable. Thank you guys for joining us today. What a great day and what a great time. It is always so good. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, because we want to see you. We want to hear from you. So feel free to comment so that we can see if you have any questions, if there are any subjects you want us to cover. We love you guys, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.